Okay, Coach, maybe just quickly summing up what you saw from your team tonight in the victory over NAU.
Yeah, I think our focus, I wasn't real happy with our focus at the beginning of the game, and certainly our execution wasn't there, but the guys corrected some things and played pretty well the last 3 quarters, and it's we've gotten better, I think, each week in certain phases, but there's also a lot of things that we got to get better at, and with the way our schedule is, we got to get better in a hurry. We got a good team coming in next Saturday. It's going to be a great atmosphere, so we got to have a great week of practice.
You get out of that one healthier than you had the last couple of weeks?
Well, I had a couple guys banged up, a couple of receivers. I don't know if Caleb or Samaji could have went back in or not, but the way the game was going, we were able to get them some rest in the second half. And I don't know if we're going to get anybody back that's been injured or not, but I'm sure every team has some injury issues, and I don't know if we got anybody else hurt today. Yeah, no, I haven't seen them with the trainers.
What do you think of Gerard Randall?
Gerard's pretty explosive. He's probably one of the most popular guys on the team because he works so hard. He's a great young man. He's more and more comfortable each week. And sometimes you forget that this is only his second year in the system. He's an explosive athlete, and he brings a certain dimension, certainly with his ability to run. And he can throw it too. I mean, he's got as strong arm as anybody I've ever coached. So it was good. And he gets more and more confident with each rep he has. And he had 2 really big explosive plays today. So it was good to see him do that, and good to have Brandon Dawkins in there too to give him a little bit of experience. So we've got, and then even Zach, who, if Gerard's not the most popular guy on the team, we call him War Ginger. Zach Worley. And by the way, he can do a spot-on Frank Sinatra performance. And it'll probably be coming on a YouTube or a social media site soon. He's phenomenal. He's been our winner of our talent show each of the last couple of years with his Frank Sinatra bit.
You ever had a game where you had 4 quarterbacks rush in for a score?
I don't know. I don't think so. Brett? He was the only quarterback that didn't score. He had 7 last night, didn't he?
After all you've been through the years, do you ever feel sympathy for the other team when you beat them like that?
No, and they played hard. I mean, it was, I don't think the score is indicative of the way the game went in the beginning, and certainly in the beginning. And, we, played a lot of guys, and they played a lot of guys. So, it's, you're supposed to win. You're 1A, I still play 1A, 1AA. But as you see across every week, sometimes those 1AAs will come up and get you.
Rich, how have the last 3 weeks set you up for next week?
We haven't done anything really that's said, okay, we're going to rep this to get ready for conference play. We've always just been, what do we got to do to win this week? With that being said, there are things we got to clean up, or things that, okay, offense or defensively, after you see a game, we don't run this very well, or we don't run this play very well, and so you kind of condense your package, or you add things in there that you think you do well. So I think over the last 3 weeks, particularly offensively, we've been able to find some things that fit in our offense that we can execute well and carry into the conference games.
Was the interception by Devontae kind of the game-changing play?
It was one of them. We're struggling defensively a little bit, and I got to watch the film and see what the issue is with that, and hitting a couple of the big passes, because we're going to be playing some really good skilled players, in our conference, so we've got to get that shored up.
Gerard got some run at wide receiver today too. What did you kind of see from that, and what do you expect?
Yeah, our plan was to put Gerard at receiver, so obviously you can see him run, and if you're a quarterback, you ought to be able to know every skill position, certainly. And so what our plan in the game was, he was going to play some wide receiver at some point, and I think we got him in early, and just to kind of use him and keep him, in tune with the game. And he'll continue to do that. He'll play some wide because he knows all the receiver stuff, and he'll continue to play wide out as the season goes on.
How do you like how Anu's progress through the first 3 weeks?
Who's that?
Anu Solomon.
I thought he was pretty sharp for the most part. I'm hoping, Anu runs better than what you think. He don't run like Brandon and Gerard, but I hope he sees that, hey, sometimes you can pull that ball when you're supposed to pull it and run and get pretty good yards. I knew he doesn't like to pull the ball sometimes when he should, but throwing the ball, I thought he was pretty sharp. I thought his command of the tempo and the system was pretty good, and there's always a couple of things that I'm sure he'd like to have back, but I thought, you know, his field vision and his decisions were pretty sharp most of the night.
Anything else for Coach? Just thoughts on setting school record for points and yards in a game?
Yeah, I didn't know. You know, I've never even looked beforehand what it was, and you know, the reason we did it was because the backups, you know, Gerard and Brandon, went in there and made some big explosive plays, and I'm sure that's why the points and the yards got up there. But it'll be nice to talk about for a day after tomorrow's film. We won't be, other than the corrections, we'll be moving on for sure.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.